The Celtics have the 3 games winning streak. After defeating Philadelphia 76ers Friday night, October 20th in Wells Fargo Center, Philadelphia 102-92 with 21 points and 4 assists from Kyrie Irving and 9 rebounds from Al Horford. The Celtics defeated New York Knicks Tuesday night in TD Garden 110-89 with 23 points and 7 assists. 23 points Jaylen Brown, 7 assists Kyrie Irving, and 13 rebounds Al Horford. Now the last game is against the Bucks in Milwaukee Panther Arena, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and we defeated the Bucks 96-89 with the help of 27 points and 9 rebounds of Al Horford. We had 7 assists from Kyrie Irving, and the team is playing better and better. When we are talking about the Eastern Conference standings right now, number 1 Eastern Conference, Orlando Magic 3-1, 75%. Number 2, Washington Wizards 3-1, 75%. The Celtics are tied with Cleveland Cavaliers despite the injuries with 3-2, 60%. The Celtics are number 4 and Cavaliers number 3. Number 5, Brooklyn 3-2. Number 6, Milwaukee 3-2. Number 7, Detroit 3-2. Number 8, Toronto 2-2. Miami number 9 2-2. So now we can say also that Gordon Hayward rehabilitation will enter the new stage, to say that way. Brad Stevens said that he will rejoin the team. He shooted from the chair some shoots, and he will be active in the Celtics preparations and trainings, I guess. So it will keep him occupied, and Gordon Hayward will be able to be part of the team mentally. And I think this is the good move. After receiving the hard hit from Giannis Antetokounmpo the last night, our center Aaron Baines is fine. He's having left elbow taped, but he's fine, thanks God. And Marcus Smart returned last night, but he is on the minutes restrictions, 4 or 5 minutes per every quarter. Marcus Smart played pivotal role in the Celtics victory the last night. He was doing the classical Marcus Smart things that are winning games. Marcus Morris is still out. The Celtics are targeting probably October 30th, the game against San Antonio, for his return. Maybe even November, we will see. So at the end of, we will talk about the wins. The Celtics are on the 3-0 winning streak, 3 games winning streak, and we will talk about Bucks win and a Knicks win in this video chat. Also, we will touch disabled player extension in the second hour and available players for the vacant position of small forward who can join the Celtics and help us right now. We will explore some options for you. Now, let me ask, before we go to audio's break number 1, let me ask my partner here in crime, Daniel Camacho, studio host, producer, and everything. Let me ask him, what are your impressions about Bucks game, Daniel, and what do you say about Marcus Smart returning from injury? about Marcus Morris injury and the fact that the Celtics are tied with Cavaliers despite heavy injuries?
Well, to me, that game against the Bucks was a big win. Overall, the Celtics managing to pick up a victory against a team that had beaten them just about a week or 2 weeks prior to this game was, a big thing, for their psyche overall. The Celtics managing to do it also in the fashion they did it, which was that you had some of those big name players for the Celtics, in particular the biggest guys, Al Horford and Kyrie Irving, playing a big role in the third and fourth quarters. Al Horford, when the Celtics were down and were actually looking like they were gonna have a replay of what happened in the first matchup, Al Horford hit some big time threes back to back, with Kyrie Irving being the one that dished the ball to him on both plays. In one of those possessions, he ended up splitting two defenders in order to actually dish it right to Horford in the corner, in order to get that shot, wide open, and it went in. That gave the Celtics a 2-point lead at that point, and they pretty much never looked back after that. But what we saw at the beginning of the game, in my opinion, was even more critical. Of course, everybody, including me, was highly critical of Jaylen Brown, because Jaylen Brown last night didn't bring his A game. He wasn't doing too great compared to the way he was in the game prior to that against the Knicks, which, of course, we all know that was Jaylen Brown's birthday that day on Tuesday. So, the birthday boy made a big, gave us all a big performance and made himself look good. And then yesterday, he looked, terrible. But we saw Jason Tatum, for example, and even Aaron Baines take over and try to actually go the route of keeping the team in it. Aaron Baines managing to get a few shots from outside to actually bring guys like Antetokounmpo and Greg Monroe out of the paint, and made it where guys like Tatum and Kyrie Irving were all able to attack the rim and get a few easy layups. Marcus Smart, was able to hit a few threes down in the second half, knowing that this was his first game back, and we all kind of felt he was going to be a little bit rusty. Terry Rozier did what he usually does. So we are seeing this team start to bond, in my opinion, and we're starting to get more, in my opinion, Igor, more insight into what Brad Stevens' set rotation is going to be. Of course, once Marcus Morris comes back in that game against the Spurs, which again is what they're eyeing. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can't really say it's a guarantee he's going to be back in that game. He could be back before it, or he could end up returning after that. But once he does return, it's going to be a major, improvement, because right now we have Daniel Tice playing, and even Tice last night played some big time minutes because he was able to actually help Al Horford go and deal with someone like Antetokounmpo, because Tice is, more mobile than what Aaron Baines is. So you were able to bring Baines off the bench so he could go toe-to-toe with Greg Monroe, who, in my opinion, Igor, he played the biggest role in that game a couple weeks ago when we lost to the Milwaukee Bucks here in Boston, because they took advantage of him and Antetokounmpo playing together, and Brad Stevens going small because he wasn't trusting guys like Daniel Tice to basically go in the lineup with Al Horford. Brad Stevens wanted to keep nothing but shooting and small guys on the floor. Last night, he and Ojale actually showed that they were capable of staying in front of Antetokounmpo and Monroe, and they turned those guys into jump shooters. And neither Monroe nor Antetokounmpo have proven. Even though Antetokounmpo is looking like the MVP right now of the league, and that's how everybody's treating him, because the boy is averaging over 30 points a game, but that boy has not proven yet that he can consistently win the game for you by making jumpers. And that's how they won that game last night. They turned Antetokounmpo into a jump shooter rather than him having his way with dunks and alley-oops and layups like he had in that first game here in Boston. And if they can do that each and every time we play them, they're going to have a chance to actually beat this team.
Excellent stuff. And Daniel, we have audios for our listeners and viewers. The first audio is Daniel Ainge giving us update about Gordon Hayward, and the second audio is post-game report about the Bucks games that we are going to discuss after the audio. So can we hear the audios, and then we will continue to discuss about Bucks game.
Danny, so Gordon Hayward, what's the last you've heard from him? Are you keeping, like, how often do you speak with him? How are you in contact with Gordon, and what's the latest?
Well, organizationally, we don't want to overwhelm him with having everybody in contact with him, but organizationally, we're in contact with him obviously every day. And, someone is at his home or he's coming over for, some therapy, and but he's been down. He's like, this is a tough road for him, and I think he's going to get through this. And but right now it's just a tough time.
Has there been any change in the prognosis? I mean, his agent said that he was out for the season. I know it's too early to tell, maybe, but are you getting a read that maybe this heals sooner than later?
Oh yeah, no, it's way too early for that. But everything went great in the surgery, and everything they put a cast on him just the other day for a week or so. Let the stitches heal, all that kind of stuff. But he was in pretty good spirits.
I felt good. This is a hard-fought game.
Your Celtics.com post-game report is presented by Putnam Investments. The last time the Boston Celtics tipped off against the Milwaukee Bucks, they couldn't get it done, falling by just 8 points. However, Thursday night at the Mecca proved to be a different story as the Celtics fought their way down the stretch and finished with the win 96-89. Throughout the second half, big man Al Horford seemed to be the answer for what the Celtics needed. He finished with a season-high 27 points and 1 rebound shy.
I felt good. This is a hard-fought game.
Your Celtics.com post-game report is presented by Putnam Investments. The last time the Boston Celtics tipped off against the Milwaukee Bucks, they couldn't get it done, falling by just 8 points. However, Thursday night at the Mecca proved to be a different story as the Celtics fought their way down the stretch and finished with the win 96-89. Throughout the second half, big man Al Horford seemed to be the answer for what the Celtics needed. He finished with a season-high 27 points and 1 rebound shy of notching a double-double.
I felt good. This is a hard-fought game. The way that they defend and the way that they challenged us just made it tough for us out there.
Yeah, he was great on both ends of the floor. He guarded Giannis a large part of the night, and I thought did a great job on him. And then obviously hit the big threes as we were at the end of the third, and then had the big tip-in going into the fourth. Kind of gave us a little bit of momentum.
That's what you want. That's what you need on a team like this. Having a vet like that that's going to make big shots, make big plays on both ends is invaluable.
Up next, the Celtics will look to get their 4th straight win against the Miami Heat on Saturday night. Reporting from the Mecca, I'm Amanda Pflugrad for Celtics.com.
And we are back at another virtual studio. You're listening to Celtics Talk Radio live post-game video chat. Tonight is Saturday, 27th October, around 7 p.m. Eastern when we're recording. When you listen this, it will be potentially Sunday, 28th October, and we're discussing about the big Celtics win against Milwaukee Bucks, big away win, 96-89 in Milwaukee again. So let's go to the statistics. The first quarter was 28-23 Celtics. The second quarter was won by Bucks, 21-15. The third quarter, 29-25 Bucks. And the fourth quarter, again, the third quarter, 29-25 Celtics. And again, Celtics won the fourth, 24-20. And accumulative statistics is, at the halftime, Bucks were leading 1, and the Celtics won the second half 8 points, and overall the Celtics won the game 7 points. Now the team's leaders, Al Horford 27 points, Giannis Antetokounmpo 28 points, but this is below his average. He was guarded good. The rebounds, multiple players for the Celtics, 9 rebounds, which is pleasant surprise, and Giannis Antetokounmpo 10 rebounds. Kyrie Irving 7 assists, and Giannis Antetokounmpo 7 assists. Again, Giannis is practically the man team. I mean, one man team. Though the Bucks, I'm a little joking, the Bucks are having really, really great team, and when they have Jabari Parker on the squad again, they will be really difficult to win. They will be really difficult to defeat because Giannis is playing on all-star level after scoring 34 against us. I think that he had the streak 33, 40, 44 or 43 points. Then again 32 or 33. And the last night only, and I say only, 28 points, and when I say only 28 points, it means Giannis is not destroying the league by himself again. Now, when we look at the box score, the Celtics box score, of course, Jason Tatum started at small forward 27 minutes. The boy is having a solid game again, 12 points and 2 rebounds and 3 assists and 1 steal, 50% field goal, and he was shooting 1 of 3 for 3, which is 33.3%, and 5 of 5 free throws. He has 2 rebounds accumulative, defensive, and plus-minus rating, plus-minus factor is +8, which means that we outscored the Bucks of 8 points during 27 minutes that Jason Tatum was on the floor. Al Horford was probably game MVP with 34 minutes, 27 points, 9 rebounds, almost double-double, and 4 assists, and again, 1 block, 11 of 14 shooting, 11 of 14 shooting, 79% shooting, amazing field goal percent, and 3 points, 4 out of 5, 80%, and free throws 1 of 1, and 9 rebounds, 8 defensive, and 4 turnovers, 2 fouls on him, +2. And Danny, can you believe, I will stop there my analysis of the box score, can you believe that there are some folks out there that are still saying that Al Horford sucks and that he's overpaid? And I mean, I have article about him a little later about that. We will return on that subject from John Karalis. Can you believe that? And what do you have to say to those folks about that?
Well, you know how it is when it comes to most of these people today. When it comes to a big man, you gotta be someone like Antetokounmpo or Danny Green or Dwight Howard. One of those guys that is dominating the glass, getting, double-doubles like crazy, and getting the highlights, constantly. Al Horford is not someone that's like that. He's never really been like that throughout his career, where he's making all the highlight reels especially now that he's, much older than what he was. We're not getting him while he's in the prime of his career, or just getting started like some of those players might be like an Antetokounmpo. He's much more older in this case, and he's got plenty of years of experience. But he is somebody that is, as they've said out here in the Boston area, he's average at everything, and you don't find that on most bigs in the NBA, Igor. You find a big like, let's say, Dwight Howard, who is really good at rebounding the ball, but he sucks at free throws. You got someone like Antetokounmpo who might be good, at dunks, for example, and getting rebounds, but he sucks at shooting the ball from outside. Yeah, he can make it, but if you gotta tell him make this shot to save your life, odds are he's gonna tell you I'm not willing to take that bet because odds are I'm gonna miss. Al Horford is someone that's got a good all-around game in this case because he's capable of not only making the shots from outside from the three-point land, he can make the shots inside in the jumping area. He's good at, around the paint. He is good at rebounds. And most importantly, he is someone that is good when it comes to the passing game as well. We have seen Al Horford make the smart plays when it counts and get the ball to the right person, and it counts in this case. That's something that comes in handy when it comes to someone like that. How many of those other guys, what do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah, Antetokounmpo might have 7 assists in a game like that yesterday, but when push comes to shove, does he really give up the ball because he finds a man wide open? Or does he give up the ball because he knows he can't make the shot if he was to take it? Or because he gets trapped and he has no other choice but to give it up? Really. Al Horford is someone that will give up the ball because he knows it's the right play to make. There is only a few players that we can name in this league that have that same type of ability that Al Horford has. And that's the real reason why Danny Ainge went and got him. You're talking about someone that has the same type of mentality when it comes to, being a pure leader and being able to actually play for the team that Kevin Garnett brought when he first came to the Boston Celtics. So yeah, you want to go ahead and continue to complain? Fine. Go ahead and find me another way. Find me any asset you think that the Celtics got, and I'm talking, be realistic. Don't go being one of those, people that's shot in the head pretty much, that will come out and say, give a second round pick, to, let's say, for example, to the Sacramento Kings for DeMarcus Cousins, and they'll give them to you. Talk about something that's really, legit, a real legit, offer that you think a team will really take, and be smart about it, and will actually be willing to talk with you. But don't come out here saying, oh, there's players out there better than Al Horford, and then you're going to come out trashing him only to then realize, hello, don't you think Danny Ainge would have already made the move to get that player if he could have gotten him already? So come on. Having Al Horford is better than having most of the bigs in this league. No offense. I would rather have him than Danny Green. Most people might say I'm nuts for that, but come on. Think about it. Danny Green's got 3 major all-stars on that team helping him. But Danny Green also is one of those players that he gives you more trouble, Igor, than what he's worth.
Yeah.
Bring him to a team like this where he doesn't have no Stephen Curry, no Kevin Durant, and no Klay Thompson, and he's not playing for a championship yet, and he's just going to be causing you not only trouble, but he's also going to be a pain in the rear. And people are going to be saying, get rid of him. Because he's only going to be, prolonging and causing, not only causing the problems, but how would you say, Igor? He's going to be, prolonging, the rebuild in this case. Because nobody's going to want to come play with him if they're seeing he's causing trouble for your team. So, come on, ladies and gentlemen. You got to be realistic here. Having Al Horford is better than having most of these other bigs in the NBA, and he's proving it. He proved it last year when he helped you get to the Eastern Conference Finals, and he'll prove it again this year. And come on, if we would have had Gordon Hayward right now, we could have easily been 5-0 right now to start the season, ladies and gentlemen. And that would have included a win over LeBron James, Kevin Love, and the Cavaliers. And think, Igor, how many people wanted Kevin Love over Al Horford? And Kevin Love didn't do much in that game. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're gonna talk, please talk smart. Don't let the words come out of the backside rather than the front.
Yeah, absolutely. Great stuff, Daniel. And to say that Horford was practically MVP of the game, and Daniel Tice get the start at the center 18 minutes. He gave us 5 rebounds and 1 assist, +1, and solid defense in 18 minutes on the center spot. And bravo for Daniel Tice. He's the good man and solid center. Jalen Brown, shooting guard, played 34 minutes, 9 points, 9 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block. He was shooting 2 of 10 field goal, 20% really bad, and 2 of 6 for 3, 33%. But those 2 threes that he hit were huge and enormous threes, practically clutch. And he was shooting free throws 3 of 6. He must have do it better. 9 rebounds, 6 defensive, and plus-minus factor +5. And point guard starter, Kyrie Irving, 34 minutes, 24 points, 3 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, 10 of 18 field goal, 56%, 2 of 4 for 3, 50%, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 100%, 3 rebounds, 2 turnovers, +4. So Kyrie Irving was also clutch. He had 7 assists. He did some amazing highlights. And do you want, before I continue, Danny, to talk about those highlights? I mean, what about that freeze move of Giannis Antetokounmpo, or the finish at the second rim, also by doing crossover at the right elbow? I mean, Kyrie Irving was doing practically whatever he wants.
Last night, Igor, was a demonstration of why, even though we were all upset and, devastated to see Thomas, have to leave the team, that was a demonstration of why we did get an upgrade and why the Celtics overall won the trade when they got Kyrie Irving in exchange for Isaiah Thomas. Not only what he did on the offensive end in a game like that where you saw Jaylen Brown struggling offensively, and it was just, like I said, to start the game, guys like Jason Tatum and Aaron Baines having to basically do the damage to keep you in it, while Irving and Horford, did a little bit of damage to keep you in it, but towards the second half, they took over to help you get back in front and ultimately stay in front. Down the stretch, in particular, the fourth quarter, after you took the lead, it was Kyrie Irving who was taking all the shots, including that freeze play that you just mentioned, to try and seal the win. Now, as you said, Igor, we kept Antetokounmpo under his average, which was 30 points. He's been going over 30 points a game, ladies and gentlemen, against every other team, and that included us in that first game here in Boston. So yesterday, the Celtics became the first team this season. Of course, the season is still short. It's only been 2.5 weeks or so since we started. So the Celtics were the first team yesterday to hold Antetokounmpo under 30 points. But keep in mind, Igor, several of those points, I'd say at least 6 or 8 of them, came in garbage time when the Celtics already had the game won, and they really weren't playing any defense. They were just waiting for the clock to run out, and Antetokounmpo started letting the threes fly to try and basically get his number to go back up, hoping that technically there would still be some sort of chance that they could win. But Irving, kept matching him and, making it where since we had to shoot, I'll go ahead and I'll put the shot in, So they kept Antetokounmpo under 28 points, really. Let's, say what it truly was, But Irving, on top of it, not only what he did offensively, but defensively. There was a block he did earlier in the first half that, the look on Irving's face after that block, the boy, or should I say, this guy looked like he was demon possessed after the play, with just a stern look on his face as he's looking at the Milwaukee player, staring him down, walking away eventually, and I'm looking at my father and me are looking at him, and I'm telling my father, this guy is in the zone tonight. You know what he's looking to do. He's going to take over eventually. He said it after the Knicks game, Igor, that he wasn't happy with where this team was, and last night, there's no way, that he can't be happy with the performance. I think after saying that, after the Knicks game, he kind of realized, I got to take it up a notch. Now that Gordon Hayward's not out, I truly am getting what I wanted. I wanted a team where I would be the guy, and I'm looking to try and take this team to the Eastern Conference Finals to win a championship, to prove not only to myself and to all these NBA analysts, but to prove to the Cleveland Cavaliers organization that I could lead a team to a championship without LeBron James having to be the one in charge. So, now was the opportunity. Last night, I think, in my opinion, was the first step. Him basically taking over a game where some of the other players are struggling, in particular key players, and he ended up leading them to the victory. And of course he had Al Horford to help. So, Kyrie Irving last night, nobody can complain. You got to give the boy his props. Last night he brought his A game when it needed to happen, and hopefully that can continue, because that will relieve the stress on guys like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum to have to feel they have to go scoring 20-something points a night, because, again, Jaylen Brown is only a second-year player, and Jason Tatum is just a rookie in this case. So it's got to fall on Irving and Horford, along with Marcus Smart and Aaron Baines and Morris, to try and lead this team to the promised land. And Irving, it starts with him.
Yeah. And to conclude, the starting lineup was Jason Tatum, Al Horford, Daniel Tice, Jaylen Brown, Kyrie Irving. So Daniel Tice started because Stevens wanted to pair Aaron Baines against Greg Monroe, that matchup from the bench. That was smart move from our coach and right move. And Baines limited Monroe, and Baines also guarded really solidly Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he suffered the murder attempt, literally, from Giannis later in the game. Anyway, I thought that Tice did great job, despite not having points, because basketball is not about the points. He had 5 rebounds, and this is what was the most in the Celtics jersey. Also, the Celtics rebounded really well. 9 rebounds from Horford, 5 rebounds from Tice, 9 rebounds from Brown, 3 rebounds from Kyrie Irving, and 7 rebounds from Baines, and 7 rebounds from fantastic Terry Rozier. And accumulative, I thought that we have 45 rebounds. And when we look at Milwaukee Bucks statistics, just 1 second, you have 37. So that means that in away court, and they are having the heights under the rim, they are having John Henson, they are having Giannis Antetokounmpo, they are having Greg Monroe, and they are having Thon Maker, and they are really big. They're playing with 2 classical centers and 1 monster under the rim, and the Celtics out-rebounding them. And how amazing that was, in your opinion, then?
Anytime this Celtics team manages to out-rebound somebody else, especially a team like the Milwaukee Bucks that has, two legit bigs in Monroe and Antetokounmpo, it's a major, thing. You know, especially knowing where we came from last season. Last season, the rebounding issue was one of the biggest things that caused us to, have not only so many problems, against teams like Milwaukee, but also caused us to lose some pretty critical games at times because we couldn't rebound the ball defensively. Last night was a game that, for example, we saw many times where a guy like Tice was able to box out Antetokounmpo because of his athleticism, and you had the smaller guys, Brown, Tatum, Kyrie Irving, Marcus Smart, all crushing the boards. Right now, we're seeing something that we did not see last year, which is this team is making a group effort pretty much to get the ball when it's a miss, whether it's on the offensive end or the defensive end. They are going for the rebounds, unless Brad Stevens tells them forget it and go get back, because there are certain teams you don't want to take that risk of going for a rebound and missing, like against LeBron and the Cavs or against Durant and the Warriors. But against a team like the Milwaukee Bucks, you can take those risks because their superstar, as I said earlier, is not someone who is going to dominate the game, because he can dominate from all positions. He can dominate you only in one way, which is by basically getting down near the hoop. So this team, if they can continue to do that, right now they're doing it at a really great rate, rebounding the ball and winning that rebounding battle. And we still have, in my opinion, the man that's going to take the starting power forward position when he does get back, which is Marcus Morris. And Marcus Morris is a pretty big body, somebody that knows how to fight for the rebounds and knows how to bang in the paint. That guy is going to basically, not only help with the shooting, but he's going to help you even more when it comes to winning the rebound battle. This team is going to have a major improvement, Igor, in that department based on what we're seeing this season thus far. And that's going to help them against those teams like Cleveland and Golden State to actually keep up with them, because you're going to help limit those teams to one shot and it's over. Especially if you can win your own share of offensive rebounds like we've seen thus far. The more shots you can put up, the better it's going to be for you, because you don't have the Gordon Hayward and you don't have, more veterans available. And again, we still don't know who Danny Ainge is going to get to replace Gordon Hayward, with that, disabled player exception that we'll be speaking about later on. But whoever he gets for that can even play a major role in helping you when it comes to this whole situation. So right now, this team is trending in the right direction in the rebounding battle, and I won't be surprised if they're one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference, if not the entire NBA, when it comes to the rebounding rate at the end of the season.
And you mentioned Marcus Morris, and yes, he's going to return hopefully against San Antonio Spurs. If I'm correct, that game is on program on 30th October. Yeah. So practically, or later, in early November. But the word is that the Celtics are not rushing with his return. And I want to tell you that some reporters like Sherrod A. Blakely, they were talking about bringing Marcus Morris from the bench, and that way, probably until he is 100% ready, he can contribute at the beginning, and they can, Sherrod said, bring him from the bench at the beginning, and later he can finish the games for you. what to say.
Well, once he does get back, I would understand that, having him, start off, come off the bench to start, his season, because just like with Marcus Smart last night, you're going to need to give him some time to get back into game shape, get back into working with the team itself, get back to getting his shot to go down, because it's difficult to go through what he went through, not only with the injury, but the issue with the police department and, that case where him and his brother had to think about thinking that they might end up, having jail time. So you got to make sure that, mentally he's in the right place and 100% focused. So I would say, to start the season, for him, have him come off the bench. You give Aaron Baines the starting spot because right now he is getting the job done alongside Al Horford,
Or Tatum. Or Tatum, depends. Or Tatum, yeah.
Well, Tatum and Brown, I think, are secure. Maybe you mean Tice in this case.
Sure. Tice.
So you can probably even go that route, depending on the team you're playing. Like for example, in my opinion, if you're gonna have it against a team like, let's say, the Bucks or LeBron and the Cavs, I wouldn't mind putting Baines, Baines in there, let's say, against the Cavs, because they got, LeBron at the power forward right now. Now, of course, thanks to the injuries to Derrick Rose, LeBron is now playing the point guard position, so they probably might just move Tristan Thompson back in. So you might want to, consider changing your ways. But I think it depends on who you're going to play and who they got starting. But for now, it's better to give Morris a chance to get back into game shape and let him, start slowly and give him his chance to work with the starting lineup during the, practice time, or even give him a few minutes, once he comes off the bench, make him and Marcus Smart the first guys to come in and let him get that time like that. But you keep someone like Baines, I think, starting because, in my opinion, Igor, even though Tice has got the, mobility and he's got the agile, he's able to move a lot, he does have a limited offensive game. So, he's kind of like, in my opinion, someone that's similar to Dwight Howard. Dunking, really, and layups is all the boy can do. You don't see him really hitting jumpers or three-point shots. Aaron Baines is someone that can hit from outside, not the three-pointers, but at least the jump shots. So he is going to be able to open up the paint alongside Al Horford, leaving a clear driving lane for Kyrie Irving, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, or even make it where if he gets away from his man, you start getting the defensive 3-second violations called against your opposing team if they decide they want to keep their man in the paint. So I'd say for now, you keep, Aaron Baines in there until Marcus Morris is ready to start.
And don't forget, Daniel, that we're going to get another small forward or power forward. I think that it will be probably small forward because we will talk about that later. And that on that small forward position, we have Jason Tatum, and I told you guys at the Celtics Talk Radio crew that I think, in my opinion, that Gordon Hayward's injury, of course, is bad thing for Gordon Hayward, and it means setback for Gordon Hayward, and it means the end of hopes of Boston Celtics fans that we can defeat Cleveland Cavaliers and potentially Golden State Warriors, because without Gordon Hayward, there is no chance that we can defeat, in my opinion, Cavaliers this year, or the chances are diminished. With him, in my opinion, we have like 50% matchup chances. Without him, Cavaliers are, despite all the struggles, again the favorites, heavy favorites, with Isaiah Thomas returning February or later, before the playoffs, they are favorites against us. And now we practically have the year where we are back to rebuilding instead being the contenders. We are back to rebuilding. Now, I think that this can be blessing in blessing in bad thing, because now Brown and Tatum are playing heavy minutes. They are playing really well, and like I told you, I think that Jason Tatum has no limits. Gordon Hayward is a fantastic player, all-star player, but he has its own limits. And Jason Tatum, he has no limits. He can be top 5 players, in my opinion. And he can dominate the league in years for us. And this was absolute jackpot from Danny Ainge. And remember when the people were criticizing Daniel Ainge, he cannot draft. He drafted 20 busts from the first round, etc., some stupid stuff. But I think that Tatum and Brown, especially Tatum, are jackpots from Daniel Ainge. And because Hayward is not there, they're playing starters minutes and they will develop really fast. This is blessing in disguise, in my opinion. And again, we still need another small forward, the shooting forward. We'll talk in the second hour about that we can compete with elite teams like Cavaliers, like Golden State Warriors, like Houston Rockets, like Thunder, like Spurs. That is just my opinion. Okay? So, what can you tell us about playing the young guys, Danny, before we analyze the bench the last night?
Well, like you said, it's a blessing in disguise overall. Depending on how you were looking at this season going into it, you might have a different of opinion. For example, someone like me, ladies and gentlemen, I said it before the season even started. I didn't expect the Celtics to beat the Cavaliers this year in this season because of the fact that I'm someone that, if you know me personally, I say the NBA, they make sure they get the championship, series they want. If you're someone that's followed the Celtics during the time that, we've had the LeBrons, the Kobe's, and all these other players, what's the one way they make sure that a certain team wins? The officiating. How many times did our teams during the Big Three era, or Fantastic Four era, as some people might call it, when they included Rondo as a big name player, how many times did our boys get screwed because of the officiating going so one-sided when LeBron finally got to play with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, and they kept making it where every year we got to go at it with those guys, but every year it was the same result. They would beat us in a big, 6-game, 7-game series, and when you finally saw the games that team beat us in, they took, 30, 40 free throws to the Celtics 20, something like that. That's the same situation I was looking at here. Especially knowing, Igor, that when you look at the case, this is possibly, we're looking at a situation where LeBron, ladies and gentlemen, he's getting closer to the end of the golden road when it comes to him being the dominant force in the league than we are to the beginning. The NBA knows that he is not going to be able to carry a team to a championship much longer. He is not going to be able to carry a team, especially now that you got Golden State out west. You are not going to be able to see LeBron carrying a team to compete with that Golden State Warrior team. I think last year that was proven. LeBron James couldn't carry that Cavaliers team last year to compete with the Warriors team in a 7-game series. And so they're worried. Everybody says it. The Cavaliers, the NBA, they know this could be the last chance that LeBron James and the Cavaliers have to go toe-to-toe with that Golden State Warrior team before LeBron James flies the coop and goes, to enjoy himself playing somewhere else, getting his money, and living in a much, better city overall when it comes to, playing in a tropical type area. Some say, Miami, others say, California, things like that. So, ladies and gentlemen, come on. Someone like me takes a look at that and says, do you really think the NBA is going to let the officials go fair and square for us against LeBron James and the Cavaliers this year, knowing the circumstances that are going to be happening, Igor, in this season? Kyrie Irving ditching them to come to us, the situation with LeBron possibly leaving, especially if his team wasn't to make it to the NBA Finals. Forget it. You lose to the Warriors in the finals, that's one thing. You lose to the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals with the Cavaliers, he's definitely gone. So there was no way we were going to win, in my opinion, knowing that fact. So, us losing Gordon Hayward, I look at it and say, well, the first year that we all knew was not going to do anything, okay. That gives him an opportunity to make sure he's 100% healthy for next year when you got the better chance. In my opinion, this season has always been about making sure you get back to the Eastern Conference and you try to put up a better fight than what you did last season. You don't look to get beaten 5 games. If you can, you look to make it a 6 or 7 game series with the Cavaliers, because then that proves that you have made a bigger, adjustment, and you've made an improvement compared to what you were last season with Thomas, with Bradley, with Crowder, with Amir Johnson, and all these other guys who are no longer with you. And ladies and gentlemen, that can still happen. Think, you nearly knocked them off in the first game of the season on their court without Gordon Hayward and without Marcus Morris. And they had, they had Derrick Rose in that game. So him being out now, they can't use that as an excuse. The only player they didn't have was Isaiah Thomas. So, come playoff time, there's always the possibility. Danny Ainge keeps getting bombarded by the questions if Hayward can come back. And he still doesn't know if there's a possibility Hayward could return or not, depending on how far the Celtics make it. But right now, you got to look at this, as I said, a blessing in disguise. Because right now, Tatum, in my opinion, Igor, he continues going the way he's going right now, this boy is going to be the Rookie of the Year. Lonzo Ball, right now, he is not looking the way everybody has made him out to be. All the talk we've been seeing about him going into this season, his father, in my opinion, looks like a real, donkey's rear pretty much for the way he be talking up his son. Yet his son is scoring 7 points in a game in some of these competitions that they've had so far. And Tatum is going into double digits, playing much more harder competition in some cases. So, ladies and gentlemen, right now, you are getting these guys the experience they need, because next year, they will be ready. They will be ready to play a much more bigger, role for you when it's time to start going toe-to-toe with LeBron, and that will be the year that you need to knock LeBron off the pedestal. If LeBron is not in the Eastern Conference next year, fine. They're ready to help you take over the East and make it where Washington and Toronto, which will probably be your biggest threats next year, are not able to compete with you. And so you got to be prepared to go toe-to-toe with Golden State at that point. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is a blessing in disguise. No offense to Gordon Hayward. We all know the injury, and it looked disgusting the way he went down in his injury, and we all wish him the best, and we wish him a speedy recovery. But this is going to benefit us in the long run. Because then also, we don't know if we're going to have Marcus Smart next year. For example, he could end up ditching us at the end of this season. This is going to make it where these guys can easily replace him if he's not willing to play ball with us.
We have the article about Smart, and we can go talk about Smart if we have time at the end of the show. But I said that if he doesn't improve his shooting and scoring abilities, the Celtics are not going to give him the sum that he wants. That is 15 and more millions per year. This is insane, and Danny Ainge will not do it. So, I mean, yeah. Uh-huh. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So, we will talk when we finish Knicks games, and we will speed up the process. And we had intention, ladies and gentlemen. So stay with us, bear with us. In the second hour, we will explain what is the disabled player extension, what does it mean, and what are the potential targets and players available for the Celtics. Because that is what we planned. That is what we planned for this show. Thanks, Danny, and keep on watching for the news. Let's back to the Bucks game. I mean, the bench at that game. Marcus Smart, 26 minutes, 8 points, 1 assist, 4 rebounds, 1 steal, and 2 of 10 shooting. Like I said, 20%. 2 of 6 threes, 33%, but he was plus 7. He played, those 2 threes were practically clutch. And Aaron Baines, 23 minutes from the bench, battling with Greg Monroe, and 12 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, and 3 of 6 field goal. I mean, 50% plus 12. Terry Rozier, 20 minutes, 4.7 rebounds. And 22% shooting plus 1, a little shy night, but Terry Rozier is playing great this season. Shane Larkin, 5 minutes without success. Semi Ojeleye, 13 minutes. He was -2, 1 rebound, 1 assist, but excellent defense, and that's practically it. So, when you look at the bench, we played Smart, then Rozier at the backcourt, then Larkin. That's our backcourt. Shane Larkin, Kyrie Irving, and Terry Rozier, and Semi Ojeleye as power forward, and Aaron Baines as center. And again, we miss Marcus Morris, and we will get another player. So our bench will be even stronger. Right, Danny? What you have still on the news about disabled player extension? Yeah.
So as we have said on our show, the news is coming out. Of course, they are confirming, ladies and gentlemen, that this does not mean that Gordon Hayward is done for the season. It just means that he is more likely to not return before June 15th than he is to return before it. So, again, it means that he is more likely to miss the rest of the season than he is to return June 15th, which would be, the start of the NBA Finals, or the end of the season, basically. So, of course, we all know, Igor, we have mentioned this on our radio show, that there is, a key date, which I believe is in March, that whoever it is Danny Ainge has got to get, which, whether it is that he goes for a player that's going to trade for, or a free agent, Danny Ainge has to get them, ladies and gentlemen, before a specific date, which I will look up that information now while we continue, in order for them to be eligible to play for the playoffs. But again, ladies and gentlemen, Gordon Hayward would be allowed to return here to the Boston Celtics from the injury, even if the Celtics use the $8.4 million that they have been offered. But of course, this does mean that the doctors for the NBA, this is not the Celtics doctors, the NBA doctors had to look at Gordon Hayward's injury, meet with him personally along with the doctors who did the surgery, and verify that Gordon Hayward is expected to miss most, if not all, of the NBA season this year. So it's now all about who Danny Ainge wants to use that money on, and whether it's a trade or a free agent, and when he wants to use it.
Yeah. And again, we will explain really in details what does it mean, and Danny gave you some details. So this is breaking news, and this is live program, and this is fantastic. Those are all the great news, and those are some positive news that we will have a good season and good results after the terrible injuries that we suffered. And we had like Gordon Hayward injury, then we had like Aaron Baines short injury, then we had Marcus Morris injury, he's still out, then we had Marcus Smart injury, and again, I really hope that this is the end of injuries for this season. I think that the Celtics had enough injuries, and the Celtics show that they are deep enough to bear for now for those injuries. And again, like you said, it could mean that the Celtics can be back the stronger the next year, and Gordon Hayward himself can be back mentally stronger, and I would say tougher the next season. That's for sure, and hopefully 100% ready for the play. And what I want to continue is the discussion about Milwaukee Bucks. Again, the Bucks, the Celtics were leading majority of the first half, and the Bucks turned around the game at the end of the second quarter when they had the lead +1. They were leading during the third. The Celtics take over the lead in the third, and they kept the lead until the end of the game. Now, Danny, let's talk the game recap and finish with the Bucks. Like I said, 4 for 27 points, 11 of 14 field goals, 9 rebounds. Kyrie Irving, 24 points, 10 of 18 field goals, and 7 assists. Also, Jason Tatum, 12 points, 3 of 6 field goals, and 5 of 5 free throws. For the Bucks, Giannis Antetokounmpo, 28 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. Malcolm Brogdon, 15 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Really good game. Chris Middleton, 15 points, 3 rebounds, 2 steals. Again, Jabari Parker is out for this team. This team can be top 4 teams. This team can challenge all the teams at the East. And in my opinion, Eastern Conference have, because Charlotte is good, Miami is also good. Those are the third tier teams. Eastern Conference competition is really strong. Maybe this is not stronger than the Western Conference, but it is strong enough. And I think that the people that are saying that only Western Conference is strong, they are not right. The game recap. Kyrie Irving and Al Horford and Kyrie Irving, and the defense, and the Celtics defeated Bucks 96-89. Now credit the kids for Tuesday night success, but when tough games hit Thursday against the Milwaukee Bucks, the Boston Celtics grown-ups took care of them after relying on Jaylen Brown and Tatum for the New York Knicks game out of the gym the other night. The Celtics needed Kyrie and Horford to carry the team 96-89 win in Milwaukee. When the offense failed in the first half, those guys were the only ones capable of putting the ball in the basket. When Giannis Antetokounmpo went off in the third, they were the only ones responded with a string of clutch shoots, bringing Boston all the way back from 7 points deficit. Jaylen Brown couldn't convince the basketball to fall through the hoop Marcus Smart had a rough stretch near the end of the third, and the rest of youngsters struggled, but Irving and Horford and Irving, whatever you prefer, put the Celtics in position to win. Now, Boston still needed the kids to make a place in the fourth, and they did come through, extending the lead with Irving and Horford on the bench, then making plays, especially Smart and Brown, to help seal the deal, to help the Celtics to seal the win. But when the Bucks tried to pull close late, it was Irving who found Horford for his fourth third-pointer of the night. Irving was convinced his way to the basket, and Irving, who cut to the rim, collected a pass from Horford and spooned another layup through the rim. The two stars were brilliant. Irving's breaking through. Before shoot around, Irving 24.7 assists, took a look at the throwback court, got a little spooked. Though the court was initially brand new and provided some company that produced the TD Garden parquet, Irving thought safety might be concerned. He was probably just a little worried because the court looked tall, but it's funnier to think he was talking about safety of his defenders. But for the first time in green, Irving really started cooking. Malcolm Brogdon played perfect one-on-one defense on one possession, and it just didn't matter when Irving's on his game, brilliant his game. He's pretty much unguardable in isolations. His 16 first half points came mostly the result of individual brilliance, and then he took over with both scoring and passing after the break. It was his best game in Boston by far, but Horford might have had his best game with the Celtics too. He scored 27 points and 9 rebounds and 4 assists, and did heck of a job guarding Antetokounmpo, and he was plenty efficient. He shot 11 of 14 field goal, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. It was good things they got going like that. The Celtics youngsters, so promising the other night, collectively forgot how to deposit the ball in the basket. Rozier, Brown, Tatum, Larkin, Ojulay, and Tice should combine 1 of 20 field goal. Yikes. But the Bucks went ahead by 7 points during the third quarter and looked poised to run away. But Irving and Horford stood strong. Giannis watched. Brown, watching a film before the game, sounded amazed while telling Horford how somebody, Brown, didn't name who, scored 30 points per game. In A, Brown told Horford to imagine what the player could do with a 3-point shoot. Considering the Celtics were in Milwaukee, it's safe to presume that player X was Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, if it were wise to debate and be candidate, he would probably be leading candidate, and he's done almost all the scoring inside the paint. The Greek freak has emerged, that type of force that terrorized coaches and defenders. And how did the Celtics handle the Giannis? With Horford, as usual, primary defenders, and all 4 of his teammates playing help defense. Boston sent a lot of helps, sealing out to keep Antetokounmpo away from the rim, especially in transition where he can be devastating. While it limited Giannis for the majority of the first, he went off in the third quarter, and using size, mid-range shoot, and athleticism, the best way to stop Antetokounmpo in transition is to keeping him away from the opportunities, and the Celtics failed to do that in the second half. They snapped back, though the contest most of his looks, and Giannis still had 28 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists. Bane survived attempted of the murder. Given how scary Antetokounmpo has become, how huge, Aaron Baines deserves a world of credit for successfully stopping the first half poster dunk. And Baines wasn't the only Celtics player in the paint trying to wall off Antetokounmpo's path to the rim, though. He's all the world now, but they did a great job limiting him while refusing to let his teammates to get three. So good job by Stevens and the guys. Then we are skipping to Knicks games, and can you tell us some statistics about the game potentially?
So, of course, the Celtics in this game against the New York Knicks ended up blowing them out in what was a pretty embarrassing game for the New York Knicks overall. The Celtics ended up winning. Ended up winning 110 to 89 over the New York Knicks here in Boston. Tatum and Brown were the ones, as I said earlier, that ended up dominating this game. Jaylen Brown scored 23 points in 32 minutes, going 9 of 16 from the floor, 3 of 6 from downtown, 4 rebounds. Tatum 22 points in 31 minutes, 9 of 15 from the floor, 4 of 6 from downtown, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. You had Kyrie Irving, who was the third highest scorer on the Celtics, with 20 points in 30 minutes, going 5 of 13 from the floor, 1 of 5 from downtown, 3 rebounds, 7 assists. Al Horford ditched in 13, put in 13 on 29 minutes, 5 of 8 from the floor, 2 of 4 from downtown, 13 rebounds, which was the high for the rebounds overall for the Celtics, 5 assists. Aaron Baines, who started in this game, ended up scoring 3 points in 22 minutes on 1 of 3 shooting, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. Daniel Tice off the bench was the high scorer for the bench team, scoring 11 points in 21 minutes, 4 of 6 from the floor, 1 of 1 from downtown, 5 rebounds, 1 assist. You had Rozier, who was second in this case, off the bench, 8 points in 31 minutes, 2 of 7 from the floor, 2 of 4 from downtown, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. You had Larkin score 6 points in 20 minutes, 1 of 5 from the floor, 1 of 2 from downtown, no rebounds, 4 assists. Yabusele scored 4 points in 2 minutes, 1 of 1 from the floor, 3 no 3-pointers, no rebounds, no assists. Ojale had nothing but 2 rebounds in 16 minutes on the floor, 0 of 1 from the floor, which was a 3-pointer that he missed. Nader played 4 minutes, scored absolutely nothing, had no rebounds, no assists. Bird had 3 minutes of action, scored nothing, but didn't take any shots. So on the Knicks side, you had their star player, Porzingis, who was supposed to be the next big thing in everybody's mind, scored 12 points in 32 minutes. The Celtics held him to 3 of 14 shooting, 0 of 2 from downtown, 5 rebounds, no assists. Their high scorer was Cantor, who scored 16 points in 30 minutes, 7 of 11 from the floor, no threes, 19 rebounds, 0 assists. Courtney Lee scored 13 points in 35 minutes, going 6 of 10 from the floor, 1 of 3 from downtown, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. Sessions scored 8 points in 26 minutes, 4 of 8 from the floor, no threes, 1 rebound, 7 assists. Hardaway Jr. had 6 points in 28 minutes, 2 of 11 from the floor, 0 of 5 from downtown, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. Hernan Gomez, if I'm correct is his name, 12 points in 11 minutes, 5 of 6,
Gomez,
5 of 6 from the floor, 0 3-pointers taken, 1 rebound. You had Beasley with 6 points in 14 minutes, McDermott with 6 points in 17 minutes, Thomas with 2 points in 10 minutes, Quinn with 2 points in 6 minutes, Jack with 4 points in 18 minutes, and Baker with 2 points in 10 minutes. Dotson had no points in 5 minutes. Overall, again, 110-89 the Celtics. The Celtics shooting 49.3% overall, 48.3% from downtown. They won the rebounding, or lost the rebounding battle, actually, 43-41. They out-assisted the New York Knicks 26-20. The Knicks shot 36 of 85 for 42.4%, and 1 of 12 from downtown for a measly 8.3%.
Excellent stuff, Daniel. And I mean, let's I will do the game recap, and then we will move to those breaking news that you were talking about, and that is that NBA has granted the Boston Celtics an 8.4 disabled player extension for the loss of Gordon Hayward for the season. The DPA expires March 10th, and in the trades, the Celtics can receive up until $8.5 million. So let's move back to the New York Knicks win, 110-89. Brown 23 points, Tatum 23 points, 4 rebounds, 4 steals, Kyrie Irving 20 points, 7 assists, Horford double-double, 13 points, 13 rebounds. They all led the Celtics. It was the Jalen and Jason show Tuesday, and the Celtics win 110-89. It was the second win of the season for the Celtics against the New York 110-89. One could call it foreshadowing, or a highlight dunk, or the most impressive play of the Boston Celtics rookie Jason Tatum's young career. Whatever term you want to use to describe his putback throw down over the top of the several New York Knicks defenders, it was the wonderful play. And the first of many signs the Knicks would have fits dealing with Boston's youngsters. Dealing with a load of bad early season injury luck, the Celtics are already relying more on Tatum and Brown, and they intended to do that. They will sometimes come with growing pains, but Boston's youngsters spoon like fire through the Knicks on Tuesday night, 110-89, combining for 45 points for the win. Now, the young guys, with all due respect to Kyrie Irving's 9 points rush near the end of the first, which included this left-handed beautiful dunk, overmatched Doug McDermott. The first half belonged to the Celtics youngsters. Brown celebrated 21st birthday Tuesday night when he scored 23 points, and over 11 first quarter minutes, the wing had 13 points, 2 rebounds, 1 block, and 1 steal, taking full advantage of New York Knicks perimeter defense. Brown scored on post-up, drilled a pair of threes, even got off the double pump transitional dunks, which followed his steal. Considering what he gave the Celtics last season, the second-year pro development as a scorer might be a success and necessity. The team needs him to put the ball to the basket, and he's been up to the task for so long. He entered halftime with 18 points, feasting on whichever mediocre or worse team New York Knicks matched against him. The Knicks didn't hold their ground well Tuesday night, but Brown still outclassed everyone on his way. How did the Tatum complement his young teammate? But by just about stealing the show, helping the Boston bench unit to build some pace, because Bain started, and the rookie scored 10 straight points for his team during the second quarter, including three-pointer and a nifty post-up fadeaway before finding teammate Shane Larkin for traditional triple. And at halftime, Brown and Tatum duo trailed the Knicks just 33-30. Boston as a team held 45-33 advantage at the halftime. It should be pointed out that the New York didn't do much NBA level basketballing, but the Celtics held the Knicks to 35% shooting over the first two quarters and didn't allow the three-pointer until the minutes into the fourth. Kristaps Porzingis, 12 points, 5 rebounds, 3 of shooting, who had been wonderful at the start of the season, who stifled by Boston's long and athletic team defense and entered the break in 2 points on 1 of 8 shooting. Before halftime, the Celtics picked up 5 blocks, 8 steals, and 11 total forced turnovers. They didn't have much trouble imposing their will against these Knicks. So I should also note the Tatum impressive way to score the first buckets of this game. And Escanta still delivered for the Knicks, but it was pointless. 16 points, 19 rebounds, monster game for Escanta. Not helping the Knicks, of course. Boston made more three-pointers, 14, that New York Knicks attempted. The Celtics didn't need Irving, 20.7 assists, and Horford, 13 points, 13 assists, 5 rebounds, to star on the night because both veterans were good, but they just couldn't take all the shine from Brown and Tatum, who made the history together because they were 23 points and 22 points, and they were 21 or younger. Those were the first two players in NBA history to make 22 and more points by the age of 21. 2 players at the same game. And the Celtics youngsters won't always be such good, but they can play and they're developing, and that is really promising. Now, we're coming to disabled player exception. What do you want to say on that subject?
When it comes to that subject, as we said, we'll give the people a little more insight here in regards to the issue. Of course, you and me, on our last radio show, we gave everybody a pretty good insight overall. The disabled player exception, again, ladies and gentlemen, is money pretty much that the NBA is giving the Celtics to use to either sign a free agent or to trade for a player to replace Gordon Hayward. The NBA only gives this to teams that have lost players to a major injury that the NBA doctors feel will end up causing that player to miss most, if not all, of the season. So again, it's not the Celtics doctors that you see on the sidelines when the team is playing. It's doctors that the NBA offices and the commissioner assign to go look at these injuries themselves that have to make the determination. So, in this case, the money ends up being roughly half or so of what the player is making. Of course, the Celtics in this case ended up getting $8.4 million for the exception for Gordon Hayward. So now the exception can only be used for a player, one player in this case. If it's a free agent, the contract can only be used for 1 year. So basically it's a 1-year deal worth $8.4 million if Danny Ainge decides to give the entire amount to whoever the new player is going to be that he signs. If you decide to trade for a player, then the player has to be on the last year of their current deal. So you got to be trading it for a player with an expiring contract, and that player can make up only, in this case, to up to 8.5 million. Because of course, if you're somebody like me and Igor that knows how the NBA trading rules work, you can trade up to, if you're over the cap, you can trade for somebody who makes not only the amount of money you're giving up, but also $100,000 more. So the Celtics in this case are giving up 8.4 million. So $100,000 more would be 8.5 million. So again, either a player, free agent, you sign them 1-year deal for 8.4 million, or you get a player via a trade from one of the other teams who's on an expiring contract that makes up to 8.5 million. So Danny Ainge now has a pretty, interesting discussion that he's going to have to make or going to have with the team. He's got a pretty interesting decision he's going to have to make overall, knowing that now he can replace Gordon Hayward and get another guy to play the same position. He can get somebody that plays, with the big man position if he wants. He can get a small forward, like you said earlier, Igor. But there's going to be plenty of names out there that can come and take this position. Now, again, he does have to use this money before the beginning of March, if I'm correct. So Danny Ainge is going to have, so Danny Ainge does have time, ladies and gentlemen. He doesn't have to use it immediately. He's still got plenty. You got several months in this case: November, December, January, February. So he's still got 4 full months pretty much before he has to use it. But if he does not use it before the beginning of March, he will end up losing the money. So Danny Ainge is definitely going to end up using it. The other offer is the other situation is, let's say if Gordon Hayward was to make a miraculous recovery and come back next week, let's say, he cannot use it to replace a player who has already returned. So if he's going to use the money, he's got to use it for a player before Gordon Hayward comes back and is able to take the court again. If he does it and Gordon Hayward returns before the money gets used, then Danny Ainge will lose it. So again, Danny Ainge has a pretty, interesting decision on his mind. Does he want to go get a player who's a free agent, or does he want to go trade for somebody? There's a few names out there that are already being, put in the trade discussions. Some are saying Tyson Chandler, for example, along with Eric Bledsoe, have been thrown around with the Phoenix Suns. So Danny Ainge, I won't be surprised if the Suns are going to be calling him right now, trying to see if maybe he's willing to do something. But unfortunately, you cannot combine the money with any other players or any other draft picks. So the player has to make the amount of money that you're giving up, which again is 8.4 or 8.5, up to 8.5 in this case.
Yeah. And again, I want to emphasize, Daniel, that you and I explained in the last show, 178, if I'm correct, or 9, the last episode with Bobby Krivitsky, how DPA is working. And I will say again some stuff about how you explained too, also, how DPA is working. I want to say to the Celtics fans that they should only trust the reliable source, in this case, Shams Charania from the Ringers, or Adrian Wojnarowski, Woj from ESPN, or Mark Stein from ESPN, or ESPN Insiders. Those guys are reliable. And don't read the Celtics so-called experts because they don't know what is CBA and they don't know what is CBA working. And they call themselves basketball experts and the bloggers. And they claim that Gordon Hayward cannot return. So they should be ashamed of themselves. Please, the bloggers and writers, educate yourself and then write something, because the fans all over the world rely upon your updates. So again, Danny, you and I must explain a little about DPA. When the athlete goes down, especially a serious one, we go through the several stages of DPA exception. Usually within hours, next man up, okay, how do we replace him? This is exactly what is the scenario with Hayward. Before we get into possible replacements for Hayward, it is important to do note that he had surgery and he's recovering. Okay, he will make the full recovery. Now, how do we replace him? In the collective bargaining agreement, or CBA. CBA is full of exceptions to assist the teams to build their roster. Okay? The most famous is Larry Bird exception, which allows the team to go over the salary cap to pay their own free agents. We also had mid-level exception, and we had non-taxpayer and taxpayer mid-level exceptions. There are biannual exception, a room exception, veteran minimum exception. Every year, these exceptions are determined by NBA office and used hundreds of times by NBA teams. One of the exceptions that no NBA team wants and plans to use is the disabled player exception, or DPA exception. The reason for this is what it means: you have lost a player, generally a key rotational player, who also makes a large salary for this season. Such is the Celtics find themselves following the Hayward injury. There are few things the disabled player exception is and that is not. The purpose of this is to help you clear some things. First up is that Boston is not automatically granted for the exception. The Celtics applied for the exception to the NBA. If it's ruled by the fitness of play panel or NBA to be approved physician that Hayward is substantially more likely than not to be out until June 15th, the NBA can grant the team DPA. In this case, the NBA granted tonight the Celtics DPA. $8.4 million, we can trade up until $8.5 million. Let's assume that the Celtics, the Celtics had the exception. So, assuming that we get exception $8.406 million, DPA is limited to lesser of the non-taxpayers mid-level exceptions, or 50% of the lost player's salary. In this case, $8.4 million, approximately. So, how does that $8.4 million differs from straight cap space? The first, cap space can be used however the team deems best, provided they meet the salary rules. That 8.4, if it were pure cap space, could be used to sign 2 or even 3 players. If this is not DPA. Or it could be used partially, because cap space can be used in many players. To play favors or via trade. But the DPA works similarly, but it is far more restricted. The most important thing or note is the DPA can also be used in just one player, not splitting it. One player, with exception of $8.4 million. You get one shot to use it, and that's it. In addition, you can only use it to acquire player until the remainder of the season. If it's used, it can be used on the free agent. The player must sign only until the end of the current contract year. It can be used to trade for the player. or to claim the player of the waivers. That player must be at the ending of his contract or expiring contract. This is inclusive of option years, so no getting a guy who has 1 year plus a player or a team option left on his deal. Only until the end of contract year. Trading for a player gives you very slight bump, as the trade rules allows a team to acquire the value of the exception plus $100,000. That means that the Celtics, if they use the exception in the trade, can trade for the player that is making up until $8.506 million or less, versus using it to sign a player for slightly less. There are a few other criteria to keep in mind with DPA. That it must be used until March 10th, or if it goes unused, it will expire. Second is the DPA doesn't prorate, unlike other exceptions. It remains at full amount no matter when it is used. And lastly, the DPA doesn't create an additional roster spot. The team must have the open roster spot, and the Celtics have the open roster spot. The teams can petition, of course, NBA to give them extra roster spots via hardship exemption. But that comes only after at least 4 players have been sick or injured for at least 3 consecutive games and will continue to be out. Let's hope that the Celtics doesn't come into play that exception to get one additional extra roster spot. Now that we know all about DPA exception, who are the targets for the Celtics? Danny, do you want to add something? Do you have some additional information that I missed potentially?
Well, again, we have the article that you mentioned earlier. So again, one thing to keep in mind is that you have to be a team that's over the salary cap in order to even get the right to have this. If you're a team that's under the cap, you wouldn't be eligible for this type of an exception. So luckily the Celtics are over the cap in this case. Now, luckily also this injury, ladies and gentlemen, took place at the very beginning of the season. Because if this was after January 15th, Danny Ainge wouldn't have been able to apply for this exception, and we would have had to just suck it up and deal with the roster the way it was the rest of the season. So right now, again, the good news is that Gordon Hayward would be allowed to return if he does manage to get healthy enough to come back this season, and still, we can still keep the player that Danny Ainge gets with this $8.4 million the NBA has given him to go after this new player. So right now, the best thing is to figure out who we're going to get. There's not that many teams out there that have open roster spots right now. Most of them have their rosters completely filled out. So that was one, smart thing on Danny Ainge's part, not to fill the roster up completely. And right now, the roster, in a way, you can say it's fine the way it is right now to at least start the season with the guys we have because of what's going on. But, it's always smart to have at least one open because you never know if there's something available that you could end up taking advantage of with an open spot available, and look at this ends up being what we needed, because if not, Danny Ainge would have needed to cut somebody to make an open spot to bring somebody in.
Yeah, and now that we know all about DPA, what is the first group of free agents? One advantage the Celtics have is that compared to other capped out teams, they would have the largest available exception to pay the free agents. And remember, since you can only use it to one player, so you might as well spend as big as it takes, assuming ownership is on the board. Now, the available free agent lists is saying that The available free agent list is a little, different. Our old friend Gerald Green is free agent and would seemingly feel a need for an experienced wing, in addition to already known the Boston system. Matt Barnes is another versatile veteran winger, the scorer and defender on the wing. Available. Monta Ellis, ex-Golden State and Indiana player, is available. Randy Foy also. And but the Boston doesn't need Randy Foy as a combo guard. Joel Bolomboy was waived by the Jazz and would be a young player with upside. He's combo forward type. And Boston has other young guys to play that role. So I don't think that Bolomboy will be the good choice. If the Celtics wanted the big guy, the list is this one. Lavoie Allen, Boris Diaw, out from the NBA in France, suspended force, youngsters options, Daniel Achifu, already with the Boston camp, Diamond Stone, and Steven Zimmerman. The trade market is definitely more interesting, and the names will pop up like Norles Noel. Noel easily fits into 8.5 millions DPA, and he's with the Mavericks as he signed qualifying offer versus long-term deal. That works in Boston's favor, and it fills the expiring contract part of the DPA criteria. So the Celtics have been rumored to have interest in Noel, so that could land towards him re-signing in Boston after season. In addition, the Celtics Mavericks has linked up in the past, for trades. Alex Len is in a similar situation, but far less exciting than Noel. He's simply not the prospect. He was once. Boston might be better off just playing it with the young guys than signing Len. If the Bulls decide to cut ties with Bobby Portis, he could be optioned because of the fight with Nikola Mirotic. And Chicago would have to first decline their 2018-19 team option for Portis, making him expiring contract. Similarly complicated Al Jefferson situation. He would have to decline his 2018-19 player option to be eligible for the Celtics. Ersan Ilyasova from the Hawks fits the DPA, and he could be helping for the Celtics a lot because they lost Kelly Olynyk. Ersan Ilyasova can add the scoring from the bench from the winger position. Will Barton, we talk about that with Bobby. He's some good guy, ideal player, but his contract easily fits into DPA. He could be someone the Celtics could re-sign after the end of season, but the Denver is unlikely to move Barton. They have already talked about extending Barton themselves. Trevor Ariza is in Houston, veteran option. Vince Carter, James Ennis, Corey Brewer. You can expect the Celtics to use that DPA. And Danny Ainge is all about the assets flexibility, and that player can be piece of the puzzle. What do you think, Daniel, about those names? Do you have maybe some names that you prefer?
Well, for me, I don't really think we need to go with any picks. Right now you got Horford, you got Tice, you got Aaron Baines. You're gonna have Marcus Morris coming soon. You got Ojale.
Yeah.
I think clearly the position you need is the small, however you want to announce it, small forward. You say shooting forward, but I do think you need someone that plays the small forward position in this case. Right now, you really have only one small forward, which is Jaylen Brown. You got Jason, because you got Jason Tatum playing the shooting guard while Kyrie Irving's playing the point guard. Off the bench, there is nobody else eligible that can come and play that small forward position to back up Jaylen Brown. Which means Jaylen Brown is on his own, and that's going to be a big problem when you go at it with the Cavaliers, the Golden State Warriors, the Oklahoma City Thunder, teams that have superstars in that position. We kind of saw it in that first game against Cleveland, if you recall, Igor. Towards the very end of that game, the Celtics, after going down double digits after the injury to Hayward and looking like they were out of it, managed to fight back and ultimately took the lead. And then eventually the Cavaliers went into LeBron takeover mode, and LeBron kept going one-on-one against Jaylen Brown and took advantage of his size, literally pushing Brown, backing him up, and just laying it up and in each and every time. This is where you're going to need somebody to come in, somebody that's got a little bit more experience and can help Jaylen Brown learn how to defend someone like LeBron James. Now, think about it, ladies and gentlemen. You don't got nobody that can stop LeBron. You don't got anybody out there that can go stopping Carmelo. You don't got anybody out there that can stop Durant. Heck, the best player we've had that has, that was able to get close to that, we all know was Paul Pierce. But Paul Pierce was never able to stop LeBron. The best he was able to do was match him point for point in order to make it where LeBron not only was having to work like hell on the offensive end to score everything he was going to score, but on defense was having to work his butt off because he was having to play somebody that was going to be able to put up point for point and actually make it where he really was not a factor. And it came down to everybody else on the roster having to basically do their part in order to see which team would win. Clear example of that, Igor? 2008, Game 7. Paul Pierce negated LeBron by I think he scored 41, while LeBron scored 45, I think it was in that game. But the Celtics ended up winning because the rest of the Celtics, Big Three and the rest of the team outscored the rest of the guys on the Cavaliers. I think we need somebody, not so much that's going to go scoring toe-to-toe with LeBron, but that can help Jaylen Brown match LeBron James by doing it as a committee. Somebody that can give Jaylen Brown and can even, in my opinion, Igor, even help tutor him to learn, okay, you got to learn how to stay on the ground. LeBron wants to go up with the ball, fine. You let him go up with the ball and shoot over you. Don't go jumping up and letting him where, he fakes, you go up and he'll just go right around you underneath and score. We need somebody who's a veteran. We need somebody who's a veteran, who's been there before, and can help Jaylen Brown progress even more quicker and be ready to face these guys, even if it's a veteran who's going to come off the bench. Somebody who can help tutor him, knowing that Jaylen Brown is going to be the starting small forward for the future. Someone like, a name I've heard has been like, say, someone like Corey Brewer. Someone that plays that type of position and has, that type of ability. Some have said maybe you get Paul Pierce to come out of retirement from ESPN. I highly doubt that would be the case. Now, while you've been talking, Igor, I have been seeing people on Twitter talking, and this just proves again how stupid some people are. Some are saying DeMarcus Cousins, can you get him? They don't realize you can't get the player on. Well, not only is it all no, because we don't want somebody who's just going to be a pain in the rear, like I said earlier, but also the boy makes way more than $8.4 million, so it ain't going to work. So you got to learn, as you said, Igor, you and me, we know the information for this stuff because we learn how to do our research before we go giving the news to the people, which is why we say, ladies and gentlemen, if you can't get the information from them out there, when it comes to us, we're gonna do the research before we go giving you any insight. You know, so in this case, it's gotta be a small forward. Unless you're gonna go getting another big man because you're thinking of trading somebody on our team in another deal somewhere else later down the line to get a small forward, then fine. But if you're not thinking of trading somebody on our team later down the line to get the help you need at the small forward position, then you got to get the small forward now.
Again, Adam Kaufman is saying that the Celtics now that the Celtics have been granted 8.4 million PPA, some options, most intriguing, Norles Noel. And let me check the article in a minute. And again, like you said, we will be soon with Morris will be playing. We don't need another big right now. In this moment, Tice is playing also, and we need a winger, people. We need a winger, a swingman or a winger, the true small forward or shooting forward, like Danny explains. So again, just to correct you, Danny, that in this Celtics team, actually Brown is playing shooting guard, and Tatum is playing small forward, and they are rotating the guys like Al Horford when Baines is playing. When Baines is starting, Horford is power forward, and also when Tice is starting, Horford is power forward. Okay, but also when Horford is playing center, Tatum is playing power forward when they go small. And Semi Ojule is also playing both small forward and power forward, 3 and 4. Out of rotation is Gershon Yabusele. And one more information, Boston being the third in defensive efficiency and fifth in defensive rebounds. And that might confuse the people as hell, because prior to the season, the people were talking that those are the two weakest positions, the defense and the rebounding for the Celtics, right? And right away, after 5 games, of course, the sample size is really slim, and those statistics cannot be taken for granted. It's too early, but the Celtics are again third in defensive efficiency and fifth in defensive rebound. So what do you say about that then? Before we continue with the names and details.
It's crazy. Again, right now I'm seeing what you put up on Twitter, responding to the guys with Norwell, and all the other people that are getting involved in it. But like I said, Brown may be playing the shooting guard while Tatum's playing the small forward, but which one of them is being put to defend LeBron? That's the key here. We are not seeing Tatum playing LeBron. Odds are, when we go at it with the Thunder, which is not that far away. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be in a few weeks, if I'm correct. You're gonna see Brown once again going at it with Carmelo Anthony. That game, in my opinion, Igor, is actually gonna be pretty interesting because the Thunder also have Paul George. So you're gonna be in a position, that you're gonna have Tatum and Brown having to face some legit talent when it comes to guys who played the small forward position for their former teams. So that would be, in my opinion, the game where Tatum might be actually able to prove himself to Brad Stevens that I can play the small forward position, and I might be even more smarter to do it than what Brown is. But like I said, right now, the question is, who is the main guy, the main player that is standing in your way when it comes to you getting to the NBA Finals, and that is LeBron James. There is not another small forward in the Eastern Conference that we can say we are afraid of with the team he is with. So, in my opinion, you got to get somebody that plays that position. Nerlens Noel, like I said, Danny Ainge, for one, how healthy has this guy stood, Igor? Him and Okafor, look like the boys, both of them look like their bones are made out of toothpicks, literally. That's the way their careers have started. It's bad enough we've already lost Gordon Hayward. Do we need to bring somebody else that, for all we know, could end up getting injured as well and being lost for the season? And the bad thing here, ladies and gentlemen, is that Noel won't get you as much back from the NBA as Hayward did. So do you really want to waste $8.4 million or whatever it is you might have to spend? Because Philadelphia is just not going to give up Noel for the $8.4 million. Yeah, they'll make the deal with you where you give them Noel, they'll give you Noel for the money, but then you got to send them a little something else in a separate transaction in order to basically compensate, So, is it really going to be worth it going after someone like Noel who could very well end up injured after he comes to you? Unless Danny Ainge is willing to tell fans, we're going to get him because we think he is going to be able to help someone like Al Horford in the starting lineup, and then we're going to trade away Aaron Baines or Marcus Morris to go get a small forward somewhere else. There's no point, Igor. There is no point of going after Nerlens Noel. Let him stay with the Philadelphia 76ers, and if you want to, you go get him at the end of after the season is over in free agency when he's available. In this case, because trust me, the brother would be an idiot to stay in Philadelphia knowing that team is going nowhere. Yeah, they might make the playoffs this year, but that's only because the Eastern Conference is such a pathetic conference this year compared to the Western Conference. You got four legit teams in terms of the Cavaliers, the Celtics, the Raptors, and the Washington Wizards. You might want to throw the Milwaukee Bucks in there now, based on the way Antetokounmpo is playing. But come on, unless people are willing to say Antetokounmpo is going to stay playing like that on that level the entire season, that team, in my opinion, is going to end up slowing down eventually, and they're going to go right back to the way they were looking last year, in my opinion. So there's going to be a bunch of teams fighting for the right to get into the playoffs, only to lose in the first round to the Celtics, Cavaliers, Raptors, and the Wizards, and it's going to be the same teams around two that we saw last year. So don't go waste the money and waste the golden opportunity that you got right now to get somebody legit that can help you, baby, in the playoffs to possibly get by Washington and Toronto, and who knows, put up a better fight against LeBron and the Cavaliers, because we know that that's what this season was all about. Proving to these free agents and all these players in the NBA that you are the team that has the best shot of knocking LeBron off the pedestal, because again, you got to prove to these teams that there are more than two teams in the NBA. This is not just the NBA league where it's only Golden State and Cleveland, so you got to jump on one of those bandwagons. There are 28 other teams that are available for you to come to, and instead of going to the West, knowing that you got to get through Golden State, why not come to our team and help us get through Cleveland, knowing that Cleveland is a much more easier team to beat than Golden State.
Yeah, the people are saying that Nerlens Noel is the most intriguing option out of Kaufman, and the people are saying that in this case the Celtics should trade away Marcus Morris for small forward. Then I don't see what is the catch here. I don't see what the Celtics are getting to trade away Marcus Morris. And I think that Marcus Morris is a good player on the good contract, and those people are just delusional to saying that Danny Ainge will trade away Marcus Morris after he trade Avery Bradley and get him in good contract in 2 years. Okay. Now let's focus here, Danny, on our job to finish. That is who is the replacement for Gordon Hayward? We say one of the options. Okay. So this way trade away Marcus Morris for one small forward and trade for Northwest Noel in Dallas. I don't see the point in trading away Morris, but the Boston will likely lean on Tatum, Brown, and as well as versatile forward Marcus Morris in the wing. Still, the team will likely kick the tires on some available players. And for this exception, the list of the players, the pool of the free agents is this: Gerald Green, Matt Burns, Derek Williams, Dorrell Wright, signed with Bamberg in Germany, Brandon Rush, Anthony Morrow, Alan Anderson from Nets, Mike Dunleavy Jr., Mike Miller, Sonny Weems, George Niang, Jordan Hamilton, TJ Kerrston, Josh Childress, Chase Badinger, Elliot Williams, Shane Williams, Nigel Hayes, Anthony Bennett, RJ Hunter, Tony Mitchell, Amil Jefferson, Duran Scott, Perry Jones III from Oklahoma, ex-player, Gerald Eddy, DeJuan Cook, Rashul Butler, Miami, ex-Miami Meta World Peace, ex-Lakers, and Kevin Martin, ex-Nets. Martin announced the retirement, but the Boston could potentially pursue him out of the retirement. Unfortunately for Boston, many free agents have already been signed by other teams until this moment, or even waived and re-signed, like Richard Jefferson and DeAndre Liggins. DeAndre Liggins, who played last night, he's in Bucks. Richard Jefferson is in Denver now. Richard Jefferson would be a great option, but sadly is occupied now. Several other teams listed about have inked the deal overseas. Gerald Green, and again, he played for Boston, but he's not a two-way player. 46.7% from PV range, 31 years old, signed for Milwaukee in September. He was waived. RJ Hunter, our pick. I'm not interested personally in him. Perry Jones III is injury prone. Derek Williams spent the last season in Cleveland Cavaliers. This is the power forward and center, Danny correct. And again, I don't think the Celtics need the power forward. Another option for Celtics is trade. Trading for the player for 8.5 million top salary, that would also line up with the Angels' strategy of building a contender now, while also maintaining his long-term flexibility. Since the deal would be off the books this summer, okay? So Ainge also has other assets, the picks to offer in the deal. For example, to Dallas. Now we are coming Danny, to the real ones, the real guys that I'm interested in, in. That is the next list. First guy is Jared Dudley. Dudley would be great for the Boston, helping the team on and off the floor. Phoenix Suns would move the veteran small forward for the right price. They can focus on the future because they're having J. Warren and George Jackson. With that being said, his $10 million salary means the Celtics would have to trade a player away, plus the exception. And I think that is hard. Cody Brewer, you mentioned Danny, 7.8 million fits the bill, exception in the final year, yes, and could be obtained since Los Angeles Lakers realized that making the playoffs this year was pipe dream all along. And Magic Johnson traded away Lou Williams, and it becomes clear that Los Angeles is lottery bound. So Los Angeles Lakers may help us with Cody Brewer, okay? And another one for the ex-Celtics player, 32 years old. He's reportedly been shocked by New York Knicks. Lee has 2016-17 season, average 11 points, 3.3 rebounds, 2.3 assists, 1.1 skill, shooting 40% from 3. However, it went overlooked due to the New York struggles. But Dudley and Lee doesn't fit the exception. So the Ainge would rather find another player. Dudley and Lee doesn't fit the exception, okay? But they're fine players. Kyle Anderson, he fits the exception and is in the final year of the contract. He's still just 20 years old, and the Spurs may not be ready to move. Then again, if they don't want to open their wallet pay the next summer, perhaps they would consider moving him. Kyle Anderson, he hasn't done much with the Spurs, but his playing time has been pretty limited. Perhaps a change of scenery would be good for him. Also, Kawhi Leonard playing many minutes as possible. Rudy Gay signing over the summer, and he will likely split the time between the 3 and 4. And there is Dubs, Burtons. Those players, Leonard, Gay, and Burtons are playing 3-4. So Anderson is more expendable potential. Wesley Johnson. Wesley Johnson is solid reserve who has done a good job in his role with the Los Angeles over the last 2 years. He would give the Celtics another perimeter defense. Wesley Johnson. So Los Angeles Clippers, his salary fits into exception. It remains to be seen what the Celtics will do. And what are your favorites out of those guys? Do you have some favorite?
Well, again, really for the most part, none of those names really give you that, enticement that we would all be looking for. Now, of course, again, we gotta consider who we are looking at when it comes to these players. Now, fans will be able to ultimately end up going yourself, looking into the, how would you say, looking up the information yourself. But when it comes to the players that are going to be eligible, now, of course, this was posted October 23rd, 2017. But now, of course, you also got to remember that this does not include the fact that you still got to figure out how much money these guys make. So, of course, some of these names are not going to be eligible. Of course, they make too much money. But guys like, for example, the names, these are the names basically that are going to be free agents after this season. So again, it has to be somebody if you're going to trade. It has to be somebody who's a free agent after this season. And odds are it also has to be, if you're thinking about it, Igor, you got to be considering a team that knows they got much to play for, when push comes to shove, so Atlanta, for example, they have Malcolm Delaney, Luke Babbitt, Marco Bellinelli, Dwayne Dedmon, Ursan Ilyasova, Mike Muscala. So those guys will all be free agents after this season. Now, if I had to say out of those names, depending again, you gotta look at how much money these guys would all be making as part of the discussion. If I had to choose, if I had the opportunity, Ilyasova would be one I would consider. Because of the fact that he's had a good history of being able to make the shot, make the 3-pointers outside, and really spread the floor. But of course, the issue here is that you also got to consider how much money some of these guys end up making. Now, I'm going to be looking right now here, and Ilyasova, as Atlanta, their team salary is at $97.4 million. Ilyasova, for this season, ends up making $6 million. So he's eligible if you wanted to go after someone like him. So Marco Bellinelli would be eligible. Dwayne Dedmon would be eligible. But of course he's got there's an option after this season, so they would have that would have to be something he would have to waive. Michael Scala would be eligible, but he's got an option, so that has to be waived. Malcolm Delaney would be eligible. Luke Babbitt would be eligible. Mike Dunleavy would be eligible. Diamond Stone would be eligible. Quinn Cook and Jeremy Evans. So right there, I think, Igor, you could agree with me. Ilyasova would be more of an intriguing option than some of the names, if not all of the names you just mentioned. Because of the fact that not only can he spread the floor, but he's also got height in this case. So that's something that can become of value overall. So ladies and gentlemen, this is something that we'll probably have put up in the group where you'll be able to see the names that will be eligible, and Igor can look at the names that we think would be the best value in our opinion. Because again, we feel it should be somebody that's a small forward. But again, we gotta look for somebody that's a small forward. We can't be looking at just anybody, because this decision here by Danny Ainge is a critical one. Knowing that Gordon Hayward, there ain't no guarantee he comes back, the player you get could end up making or breaking this season for us when it comes to making free agents consider to join us next season and give us a better chance to actually dethrone LeBron and the Cavaliers.
Yeah. I mean, I have a little more on that content slowly to try to wrap up things, because we have crossed the line a little, but it doesn't matter. Examining the free agent shooting options for the Celtics, perimeter shooting was potentially worried because we lost Hayward. The return of Marcus Morris in week or so will help this area, but this doesn't change the fact that Stevens is dealing with a lot of inexperience and unreliable outside shooting at the end of his bench right now. The head coach admitted that it will be helpful. I think we will at least actively look for that road because obviously the standpoint of the youth, but also because you lose one of your better shooters and more versatile players. We will see how does it work. For the time being, the Celtics only have the veterans minimum use, signing any free agent since they are over the salary cap. The team will likely apply. The team applied for the EPA and get, and we explained about it. One name that I mentioned and I need to explain is Anthony Morrow, one of my favorites. Age 32. Listen to his stats. Then 14.6 minutes per game, 5.5 points per game, 0.6 rebounds per game, 39% field goal, 31% for 3, 49 games. Overview. Don't let the sub-pair numbers fool you. Morrow can shoot. He's actually one of the best active three-point shooters in the league, with a percentage of 42% from three. 42% from three. The question is whether Morrow's last year was a fluke or he has something to left in the tank. Boston fans got small glimpse of him in the Bulls series, but he saw only limited time since Rajon Rondo returned. Now Morrow was waived in the training camp by the Blazers, and he's not going to create zero offensively. He is going to capture a weapon. And if the Celtics are looking for reliable shooter in that area, Morrow is the best bet. But again, if you look for somebody to play shooting and the defense. Maybe some other guys. Like I said, Jared Duffy is a good guy. Bill Barton, that we mentioned from Denver, is choice, but I don't know if the Denver. I don't know if the Denver would want to move him. Norris Noel is good choice if we need a power forward. And again, we don't need power forward. We are perfectly fine at 5 with Al Horford, with Aaron Baines, and with Daniel Tice. We have Jason Tatum at 4, and we will get Marcus Morris at 4. And plus we have Ocho. We are 3 guys at the 4 and 5, and we are perfectly fine there. So we have only one winger, Danny said, and that is Jalen Brown and Abdel Nader and Jabari Bird. And I mean that can play the 3. We are playing smart, small ball, play smart, but it is not the good solution on the long run. But we need a small forward. And again, some of the guys, some of the names that you mentioned may be intriguing. And then you mentioned Ilyasola. Ilyasola is power forward and even center small ball. That is my only problem with him. More than small forward. Other than that, he's perfect guy. With Green, I have a problem because the Green is playing only offense and his defensive ability. And if he's not effective in shooting and in scoring, he can be used, of course, as instant offense from the bench or from the starters, like Stevens in playoffs against the Bulls. But if he's not effective out of shooting, he's practically useless. And I want the two-way guy. I want the two-way guy. What do you say? Again, the last words on this subject. And a little about Horford and to announce the next one. And slowly wrap up this.
Well, again, going with a two-way guy would, definitely come in handy. But as long as it's somebody, like I said, that we feel has some sort of, ability to make the 3-pointers, the best option, in my opinion, would be someone that is going to be able to have the body capable of helping Jaylen Brown go toe-to-toe against LeBron. It's as simple as that. You can find somebody, whether it's in the trade department or free agency, that can give Jaylen Brown in crunch time some, the ability to take a seat, let's say, while you go and you bang with LeBron, because you will be smart enough to know, don't fake, you make LeBron beat you by making him shoot the jumpers and shoot the three-pointers. You make him, shoot from outside, because LeBron, that's one thing everybody says is his Achilles heel. That LeBron cannot shoot from outside. That's one reason why says Kyrie Irving is the one that hit the biggest shot in that championship season for them, because he's the one that got the shot that actually won the championship. So for all the fans in Cleveland that still want to go, giving trouble, if it had been for Kyrie Irving, you still would have had a championship in the LeBron James era, because of the fact that LeBron can't hit the shot really when it matters. The pressure is truly on. And that's been proven throughout his career. So you gotta make him shoot from outside, whether it's a three or a jumper. Make him beat you with the jumper. Don't be letting him beat you by pretending to go for the shot. Just so you jump up in the air and he jump into you and go to the free throw line to do it. Or he can go around you and get an easy layup like Jaylen Brown did in the first game. Now, I don't think Jaylen Brown is going to make those mistakes too often, because he's a smart kid and he will learn how to adjust, especially with Brad Stevens there. But we are going to need somebody else that when the playoffs come, if you do end up making it to face LeBron and the Cavs, you can put out there that will be smart enough to not fall under the pressure, and have it where LeBron takes advantage of it, that you are an inexperienced person. No, you make it when you get somebody that knows what LeBron is capable of doing and will make LeBron have to beat him a different way.
Okay? So we will inform you in our next shows about the development of the situation, about the Celtics PA and the candidates. Now, about the outcome, because this bullshit persists, this needs to be said about our outcome. We shouldn't need a monster offensive night to understand how great is Al Horford in basketball. From John Karalis. If you need to see a guy score 25 points every night that you can determine is good, then you're not a true basketball fan, and you should abandon watching basketball. If you hang up on him, make 27 million that you need to pay attention to where NBA salaries are going and what are the league values. Guys who can play and defend the modern day five are in high demand. A guy you can play at five who can read from the trees add you more value than the guy who can score 25 per game nowadays. Because that guy opened up the game for his teammates, especially first and second year players who need a little extra space to succeed. Big who do what Al does are super valuable, and that contract was pretty much market value plus a standard premium that every team is trying to give to the player if they want to lure the star away from another team. And they have to pay. And the Celtics pay the premium. On the top of that, look at the contract the star players are signed now. Stephen Curry, 37 million next year and 40 million year after. Russell Westbrook, 35 million and 38. Harden, 30 million and 37. Durant and LeBron will make more than that. So 35, 37, 38, 40 million. And Horford is signed 27. Gordon Hayward, I don't know the numbers, and it will tell you. Kyrie has 18.5 million and 20 million the next. We have a bargain with Kyrie. And Horford in modern 2007 NBA with salaries booming after a negative deal is paid as a second-tier superstar. Second-tier stars. The top stars are making far more amount than him, which is where they belong. So get out your mess out of the case. Horford. Stop living in the past and understand where the NBA is now, both games, salary-wise. Do you have something to add Daniel, to announce next game?
He hit the nail. Unfortunately, we're dealing with era fans that, everything to them is the highlight reel. The highlight reel dunks, the highlight reel, triple doubles, going on for, 50 points a game. They don't realize that in this case it doesn't matter, how you win. It's all about just getting the win and ultimately winning the championship in the end. Someone like me that says a lot of these players today, Igor, wouldn't have what it takes to even compete with Jordan, Rodman, Pippen, Barkley, and all those other brothers in the 90s because the game has gotten so soft. And I think the fans, their mentality has changed so much from what it was back then as well. Back then, the players understood that. Back then, you were able to fight and you fought to the last second, and it didn't matter whether you won by 1 or 100. Winning is winning. Today, it's a totally different story. Look at us. The fans pretty much knowing what this team has had to go through the last, the first 2 weeks, two weeks and a half, with the injuries, with the loss of Gordon Hayward, pretty much we had some in our group that have already been ready to jump off the Celtics bandwagon instead of bandwagon because of the fact that they haven't been either blowing out the teams they feel they should blow out, like Philadelphia, for example, or because of the fact that they started the season 0-2. You know, ladies and gentlemen, really, you gotta look at yourself and admit to yourself you are pretty pathetic if that's the way you're gonna treat this season and treat these players. Al Horford is not a LeBron James. He's not an Anthony Davis. He's not a James Harden. He's not a Stephen Curry. He's not one of these guys that has the ball in his hands, 75%, 80% of the time. Al Horford, let this be his team where he's the main man, then it's understandable. But that's not the case. This is a team that plays team ball. Why the heck do you think LeBron James basically gets the stat sheet to fill up like crazy? Because he's the really only good player on that team. Yeah, they got Dwayne Wade, but Dwayne Wade is a shell of himself, ladies and gentlemen, to what he once was. Only reason he's on that team right now is because he knows that's the truth, and he's trying to jump on the bandwagon to get one last championship before he calls it quits. So, same with Davis. Think about Anthony Davis. Right now, he is someone that's the main man on that team and has the ball in his hands the majority of the time. So of course he's going to fill up the stat sheet. I think the Kufa is the same thing. James Harden, his stats are going to go down this year compared to what it was last year because now he's got two legit guys playing with him. Same thing with Westbrook. His numbers are going to go down because now he's got two guys playing with him that are legit players. Until you tell me Al Horford is playing on a team that doesn't have anybody else that can help him really win, and he has the ball at least 75% of the time and is taking a majority of the shots, you can't be expecting him to be going and getting 30, 40, 50 points a game, and then saying if he only gets 20, that it's a failure and we don't need him. The brother basically comes up when he needs to come up big, when he needs to come up big, and manages to get the other guys involved when he needs to get them involved. And come next season, like I said, next season the Celtics team could very well end up being the best team in the Eastern Conference if everything falls well for them this season.
Absolutely. And again, to say to the Twitter that those guys that suggest we should play Matt Morris before he played the single game for the Celtics are not normal and really are nuts, I must say, because they want to trade for no oil. So again, grow up, people, and let's now the next games for the end. Saturday, October 28th, 8 p.m. Eastern, we're in Miami. It will be tough game, and that is actually tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern. It will be a difficult game and hard to win. Because Miami is playing great, their home court is good, and their coach is good coach with championship rings. October 30th, Monday, we got Boston. 7:30 Eastern, Spurs in town. Also, they have a pretty good coach named Greg Popovich with multiple rings on his fingers. And they have Kawhi Leonard, MVP candidate. And they have still Tony Parker. They have LaMarcus Aldridge. They have Green. They have Darvin Bertans. They have pretty good team. They have Patty Mills, and again, they have Gasol, York Gasol, Paul Gasol, who dominated the European Championship. And we may see Marcus Morris Denny, whom the Celtics fans want to trade away. We may see Marcus Morris on the court Monday or Thursday, or maybe we will not see him. We will see. But we can Saturday hit in Miami, and Monday Spurs in Boston. And the last game we're going to announce is Sacramento Kings awful team that are coming in TD Garden, Boston, Wednesday, November 1st. So after that we will have show Thursday, November 2nd. I will not tell you the guess yet. And the next three games we will recap in our next episode. We can correct 180th on November 2nd, Thursday, 17th. Now, what do you expect? Danny Smart is back on the squad, and Morris may be back. Spurs or Kings. Kings are open team. They have one of my favorite lottery picks, the Aaron Fox from Kansas, if I'm correct. No, Kentucky. And he is projected to be the franchise player left point guard. But other than that, for example, they have my Serbian guy, Bogdan Bogdanovic, shooter. They have a bunch of young guys and should really win that game. But what do you expect from Miami and Spurs?
Okay, well, before I answer that, Twitter, we have people going nuts, driving the NBA analysts crazy with questions in regards to the situation with the disabled player exception. We want to make sure everybody's aware of one thing, that the NBA analysts people can't seem to get to their heads. The Celtics, even though they can trade players, would not be allowed to trade for Isaiah Thomas, Jake Crowder, or Avery Bradley. Because of course, the NBA has a rule that prohibits us from getting guys that we just traded away. We would have to wait 1 year before those guys are eligible to return. So right now, those people on Twitter are driving some of our friends up the walls, questioning what rule prohibits that. And so they're having to explain it. So again, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you are able to understand that the NBA does not allow you to get guys until a year after you've traded them to come back. So those guys are off limits in terms of us being able to trade for them. But when it comes to those games, Igor, I would be surprised if we go 3-0. Right now, the Spurs are playing without Kawhi Leonard, which is that's a big deal. Marcus Aldridge right now is the one trying to do all the work. I know in the game yesterday, I think he scored like 30-something, 31 points, something like that. But they're saying Kawhi Leonard could return, but should be returning soon. But it's probably not going to be until possibly sometime next week. Towards the end of the week or so. So if you get that game against the Spurs and he's not playing, that means that you have to really stop LaMarcus Aldridge. Right now, Al Horford, the last 3 games, has had to go toe-to-toe with 3 legit big guys. Okafor, then Porzingis, then Antetokounmpo. And the Celtics bigs have managed to stop those guys and shut them down compared to what they used to getting. So I would be surprised if the Celtics managed to actually give LaMarcus Aldridge a little bit of a hard time in that game. Especially knowing that we also know, Igor, that team has a few players that are a little bit older compared to what we're used to seeing in the Eastern Conference. So that's a game where I think guys like Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum are going to have a few advantages where they can kind of speed up the system and try to go attack the rim a little bit more. So the good thing that we're going to be, none of the games are going to be on back-to-backs. Right now, other than the game against the Cavaliers, we haven't lost another game other than that game against 76ers, which like I said, I mean the Bucks, which was a back-to-back game. Against the Bucks, who were well rested because they hadn't played a single game prior to that. So the fact that we're not playing any of these games on a back-to-back, I feel also is going to play a major role in this team going 3-0. They'll be well rested, going into each and every game. They'll be able to scout these teams, and at the same time, Marcus Morris being able to return for 2 of those 3 should be able to help the bench considerably. So rather than having someone like Ojale out there, he'll be able to step in and team up with Tice or Baines, whoever it is Brad Stevens decides to have, coming off the bench rather than starting. And that can help, spread the floor a little bit more for guys like Rozier and Marcus Smart. So 3-0, I would be surprised, but at the minimum, you should be going 2-1. You should beat Sacramento and you should beat Miami. The only one that you can say, fine, you lose, that's understandable, is to San Antonio, especially if Kawhi Leonard was somehow returned before that game.
Okay, I agree. 1 or 3-0. And again, the games against Miami, San Antonio Spurs, and Sacramento Kings will be recap on our audio show, which is on program Thursday night, 2nd November, 7 p.m. Eastern. The second 3-hour show, we are 3 hours now. Actually, we can 4-hour show. The last show is the final one. And check it. 179 find us at Twitter, SER capital letters Celtics Talk Radio, and Instagram Celtics Talk Radio. Also, find us blogtalkradio.com Celtics Talk Radio. Also, search us at iTunes, Google Celtics Talk Radio for iTunes. Celtics Talk Radio, Google Celtics Talk Radio on the iTunes. You will find our iTunes page. We are also at Apple. And finally, we've been Celtics Forum and Celtics Talk Radio main page. We are Daniel Camacho. We are the Celtics Talk Radio crew, and we are more than 5 years with you. And tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern, if you are working by any means, log in, tune in to Celtics Forum. We're going to do for you, as always, live play of the Celtics games. Each and every Celtics game. We're the only page and station and network that is doing that. Besides on the Celtics.com and on Sportsnet. I mean NBC Sports now. So we're the only page doing live play with Green Celtics Forum, and that's it. We're wishing you good night, good weekends, and joy in the Celtics games and root for our Celtics. Have a good night all.